It's all about fishing. It's all about hunting. It's all about the great outdoors. And it's all about outdoors with Captain Roy and Cheryl.
Welcome to Bear Creek Lodge, folks. I'm Captain Roy.
And I'm Cheryl Little.
Hey, it's sure good to have you aboard this morning.
Yeah.
And folks, I want to remind you that regular gun season closes tomorrow. And then black powder season opens on Monday and runs all the way through February. Some of the best hunting. I really enjoy the black powder season. And I kind of enjoy shooting them. Sometimes they kind of jar my shoulder, but I enjoy shooting them. And remember, go down there and register for the big buck contest. You still got time to win all those prizes. $200 is the first prize for door prize. So go down and register for it. I got a picture here of from Charles Newsom, better known as Chuck Newsom, from Clarksville, Florida. Killed this fine buck down there. And he didn't tell me exactly where he shot him. I think he said he shot him right there, but that's a fine buck, Charles, and I congratulate you on that.
Nice local buck.
And we've got some film to show today?
We do. We've got some film to show. I went over to Vero Beach and went to the Dragon Fly Boatworks factory, and Ryan, a super nice guy in the factory, gave a real good tutorial on how they make their stand-up paddle boards. And speaking of the Dragonfly stand-up paddle boards, I'll be at the Florida Sportsman Show, which is going to be next weekend, in the stand-up paddleboard booth for Dragonfly. And check out those boards. They're neat boards.
Florida Sportsman magazine really wanted to sponsor the show there. Cheryl went fishing with the
Jerry McBride.
Jerry McBride. And she didn't want me to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. We got a picture in here of her in about page 14. And Jerry said this about Cheryl, and she said she didn't want to read this, but I'm going to read just part of it. He said, Cheryl Little, a fishing TV hostess, who is also the most devoted kayak fanatic there is.
That's
and I
true.
think that's true.
And you know, speaking of the magazine, also one of our local girls, Captain Linda Cabot, is also in this issue, which is it actually came out early. It's for next month, but it did come out. It's a March issue. So check it out. Captain Linda Cabot is also. It's got a nice picture of her holding up a beautiful tarpon. So
okay, so let's take a break and see you film.
We'll go to Dragonfly at Vero Beach.
Hi, this is Nate with Mexico Beach Marina, formerly Marquardt's Marina here in beautiful Mexico Beach. Remember, we're a key dealer for Yamaha outboards as well as a 5-star certified service department, and are proud now to be a new dealer for Edgewater powerboats. Our marina store still offers all your latest tackle, live bait, bulk ice, ethanol-free fuel, and slip rentals. And our beach store has everything you need for your day at the beach with Guy Harvey, Salt Life, Sperry, Topsider, Hook and Tackle, Bimini Bay, and much more. So come on down and see us in Mexico Beach.
I tell you what I like about Coram. I like the food, I like the price, I like the quality, I like the quantity of it. But what I like most about Coram Steak and Eggs is I like that friendly atmosphere that I always find when I'm down out there. It's owned and operated by Linda and Willie Coram. They are the original, and they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and their breakfast out of this world. And my favorite is the world famous Coram Heavenly Hash. Coram Steak and Eggs, 804 South Tyndall Parkway.
Panama City living is simply better without glasses. The Eye Center of North Florida offers the most advanced surgeries, including lifestyle lens implants for cataract patients and custom view blade-free LASIK. Both procedures leave you with clear vision, and in most cases, glasses-free. The Eye Center of North Florida.
9 doctors, 1 vision, yours. When you think of a successful hunting season, two things come to mind: Browning and C&G Sporting Goods. Browning is the best there is, and C&G Sporting Goods is your factory direct, full-line Browning dealer. C&G stocks Browning guns, camo, knives, scopes, gun safes, bows, and much more, including hunting and fishing license. Look over the new Browning BAR camo short track and X-Bolt rifles. Why pay good money for anything less than a Browning? Browning and C&G, the best there is. Home of the experts.
This is the Dragon Fly 13.6. This is a lively lime color. It's the regular standard white decking that we use. We made this one into a fishing machine. I mean, it has, for regular storage, you can use it as a cooler or a storage. Rod holder and cup holder built onto it. Actually, on the other side here, you have a paddle holder built onto it also. Up toward the front here, you got tie downs, so you can put all your storage up on top of the deck, as well as in here. Yours is going to be a little different because you're going to put a battery in here, but we usually have storage in here also. This is a dry storage compartment. It has a lined inner, but it usually gets a small bag on the inside of that also, so you can put your stuff in.
Now, what's way cool, I think, is that you guys actually mounted my through-hole transducer in there for me.
Yep, the through-hole transducer is actually mounted right here next to this, and it actually just pops through. And on the very back side back there is your temp gauge. That's actually an external mount, but for this one, we went ahead and we stuck it on anyway. Your forward mount here is going to be for where you can put your hero cam. You can put an extra rod holder. That's the beauty of the Scotty mounts. You can put pretty much anything you want into them. And this one's just going to be a mount specifically for your Humminbird. It's kind of neat because you actually have on the back side here, there's a small opening that'll feed out. You can take your wires and they'll feed out through the outside here, and then this will just get caulked off so that it's nice and watertight. And you can take the whole unit in and out and store it if you need to, and it's done.
Now these boards are put together in two pieces, right?
Yeah, actually there's multi-pieces in here, but you basically, just like we build the boats, you have a hull and you have a cap. They're not fiberglass, they're actually made of a material called a Negra. It's basically spun polypropylene. What ends up happening is this stuff has all of the qualities of Kevlar without the price. You can take and beat the crap out of this, and all that will happen is you might get a couple little cracks or something from it, but it won't break the integrity of the board. We've been really, really happy with it. The other neat thing about these boards is they're not a solid board because we make them in two pieces. Most standard stand-up paddle boards are just one solid surfboard blank, and what we actually do is use this material. It comes in this is the actual width of it here is 3 inches, and we make stations that go all the way across that are top to bottom. So that actually gives you your structure and your flotation throughout the board. These stations are actually made out of the same exact material as the board itself. So it's actually polypropylene, but it's what's called expanded polypropylene. It's just like styrofoam, but it doesn't have the breaking capabilities of styrofoam. It's not as environmentally unfriendly. Instead of having that big flat bottom like you normally have on a regular SUP, these have a nice heavy V to them. The 10-footers have a little bit less of one. What we did was we actually took about right here, and it is flat from there down, but the physical entry in the water is much quieter because you have a V instead of it just curving up, even with the 10-footer. We went ahead and we did the flat bottom on the 10-footer because it gives you a little bit more stability because you lose the length overall.
Gotcha.
So this one actually carries the V back to just a little bit behind where the front of the tow rail is, and because of that, it tracks really, really well for a big board. A lot of the bigger boards, you end up having to stand up on the front or farther forward if you're trying to go a long distance going straight. These ones you don't have to because of that V. That V wants to keep it going straight. This is a tow rail. This is basically, it's two purposes. One, it keeps a lot of the water off of the deck. Any water that comes up over the bow or up over the sides, which is very rare, because of that V up in the front, will actually deflect right off the front of the boat. But the other thing that it does is if you're a fly fisherman or even a regular spin or cast fisherman, anything that you have on the deck here, your line, spare lures, hooks, or anything like that, it's going to stay on the board. So when you're rigging and stuff like that, you don't have to worry about stuff falling out. It will all stay right in here. We also have built into it on the big ones, we put in the sea deck. It's a nice cushy finish to it. The small ones have a built-in non-skid, so we can either go with the non-skid or the sea deck. Toward the back here, you can see that it goes from being pretty tall right at my first joint all the way down to almost nothing, and then in the very back end it just tapers off. The nice thing about that, any kind of water flow that comes up wants to dissipate off the back of the boat. Back toward the back here, as a standard, we actually there's a small locking ring here. We used to do just regular standard lift rings. There's a standard one up forward, but we put a rear locking ring so that if you want to travel somewhere, you can take and put a cable lock through this and lock it to your car, take it inside, lock it inside. We've had a lot of people that will keep these on their docks and they'll chain them right to their dock, so somebody just can't walk off with them.
Very cool. Now you guys also did something for me to mount my anchor.
Yep. Just because we didn't know how technical you usually get with that, we put a jam cleat right here, so you can either run the line right off and your ankle will go right here, or later on you can either put them on or we can send them to you, or we can do them later on. We can put bullseyes in and then it'll come right off the bow of the boat. Jam cleats are nice because you can pop them up, pop them down, and the line, it's pretty self-sufficient in that respect. We've actually had a handful of people that will use this small storage area for their anchor. When it's not being used, they can just flip it right over, sit it right in there, and it doesn't roll around the boat, it doesn't slap the sides. It makes it pretty easy to deal with.
Very cool.
We can, because the way we build them, like you see it here, I mean, there's not a lot of stuff on this one. We've actually done some that have some pretty crazy stuff on them. But just like we build our boats, we can do everything from teak finishes to crazy finishes that have fish in them and flames and all kinds of neat things like that. So it's kind of one of those things, if you come to us, we can set up something. We try to go through the whole process with you where it's start to finish. You're dealing with us as factory direct. We can make it how you want it. There's very few things that we cannot do.
Very custom boat. You build
very
one
custom.
at a time.
That's why we call it chemical carpentry, because if you can dream it up, we can probably do it.
Awesome. Well, thanks. Well, I'm excited to get on the water.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
I remember those days. Don't let the price of gas keep you off the water. Sunjammer Water Sports, located 1 block north of Back Beach Road on Highway 79.
What's more important in a side-by-side RTV? Is it speed and agility, or is it versatility and dependability? When getting out of the woods is more important than getting into the woods, there is only one name to remember: Kubota. With true commercial-grade construction in the chassis and drivetrain, Kubota gives you the dependability, power, and torque you need to get the job done. Kubota builds work tools, not play toys.
DOA Lures, the unfair advantage. Mark Nichols molded the world's first plastic shrimp at his kitchen table in 1989. Today, DOA Lures offers 4 sizes of shrimp in 54 colors, along with a complete line of lures for both inshore and offshore use, as well as freshwater.
And what I like the most about DOA Lures, they are American made.
DOA Lures available at your local tackle retailer or go online at doalures.com.
Hey, folks, hey, I enjoyed that. Cheryl, I don't know. You look comfortable on that paddleboard, but I don't know. Now, you got me on a kayak. I enjoyed it, but we'll
promise me you're going to try it one time, even if it's 5 minutes.
I promise. Hey, get back to deer hunting. Kenny Ray killed a nice buck, and yeah, if you look at this picture of this deer, you'd think that deer was 2 or 3 years old, but if you look at the base of the horn, that deer, this was probably a second horn. And we feed them well, and we let the small bucks walk. Now, believe it or not, when Kenny shot this buck, I was watching a small buck out at my feeder, and that was the first deer I've seen this year with horns. And then right behind, I had a second one. They began to show up, and they're going to continue to, because they're still rutting some. So stay on as long as you can. That was a nice buck, bud.
And you got some video we're going to show of Kenny Ray telling the story about shooting that nice buck. And then I've got another short video. I went fishing with Teresa Williams over at Crooked Creek. Super nice lady. And boy, she could stay on the water, I think, longer than me. Now, Teresa promised to take me to her favorite fishing hole, but we never did get around to it. So that means I guess I'm going to have to go back fishing with Teresa again so I can find out where Teresa's favorite fishing hole is. But we went over to Crooked Creek and fished the mouth of Crooked Creek and caught some nice reds and had a wonderful day. And thoroughly enjoyed fishing with Teresa and look forward to doing some more fishing with Teresa here real soon, I hope.
And I had a trip this week. We'll probably show that next week.
Okay.
And by the way, next week we're going to have Ronnie Groom on here, and we're going to be talking about spring gobbler season because it's coming up.
All right.
So let's take a break, and we're going to watch.
We're going to go see Kenny Ray and then Crooked Creek.
That's a nice buck there you got, Kenny Bo.
It's better than most I've seen the last year or 2 or 3 years for that matter. High horns, I think he was a young deer, a 6 point, but he looked like he was 44 point when he first picks his head up. Looking at him, and it was a clean kill. Now I don't think he suffered a second. And, I could see him laying there, so there wasn't no hurry for him to get up. I sat there for about another 30 minutes and didn't see anything else, but I didn't care. I saw a big fat doe that morning before I killed him. She had walked off about 10 minutes before he come out, and she was about half times bigger a deer than he was. She didn't have the ivory on her. She wouldn't be still walking right now. But it was fun, it's enjoyable, and even if I already had a good time before the buck showed up, just to get to see something in his own element, and doesn't have an idea in the world you're even nowhere around.
You know, that deer probably is 2.5 years old, Kenny, and you know that's why it pays. Let the little deer walk now. We probably let that deer walk last year and when some of those small bucks we saw.
Very possible, yep.
And
sure that's only the second buck I've seen this year, and the first one was about a month ago, and it was a big, we used to call cow horn. He's more like a pronghorn spike was all he was, but his tip of his horns were flattened, pow-mended out. Like next year he'd probably be a little 4 point. If he had brow tines, he'd be a little 8 point, but still ain't going to be big enough to kill for another couple of years.
Yeah. Probably last year this deer was probably a big cow horn or something, and but you know, we fed them enough corn. The old house of horns.
It beats Winn-Dixie.
We feed them year round, and that's all I've seen this year is small bucks. But if they left alone next year, they'll be a little bigger.
And that's the way they grew.
And I tell you what, let's do now. You got us some meat. Let's head on down toward Daniel's meat market and get that old David have this deer make us some good sausage and
deer logs now.
Get some deer. You want some deer logs?
I like a bag of them.
I like his chops he makes too.
It's all good.
So I'm glad you got him, bud. Now we got some meat, so we don't have to hunt quite so hard, do we?
It's hard work too, having fun.
No one can seem to get Georgia to reveal her secret to catching those big redfish. So we've placed a series of hidden cameras on Stan and Georgia's boat to try to find out her secret.
Stan, this looks like a good spot right here.
So you think this is a spot?
I know it is.
Okay, well, I'll get the trolling motor ready and we'll get started.
There he is, Stan.
You never cease to amaze me, baby.
Stan stuff. It's good on everything.
Check all the stuff in your pantry. If you don't see any Stan stuff, it ain't complete.
Hope you're fishing with Teresa today.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me invite myself.
I'm going to enjoy it. I hope we really catch a lot today.
I think we will. You're going to take me to your secret spot today, and I
That's right.
promise not to tell anybody.
Okay, that'd be great.
You have to put blindfolders on me, though, or I'll be back. Hope you're fishing. Is that fun or what?
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
Take your first ride out of a kayak, Teresa?
It sure is. Wow, this is a lot of fun. Wow.
There you go.
That's red. Wow.
Nice red.
Fun.
Good job. Got them on the Arkansas Glow.
Wow.
Woohoo!
Oh, that's great.
Making memories.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a cloudy, bug-filled day, isn't it?
It is, but it's still fun, even with the bugs.
Awesome.
Whether it's removing dangerous trees or planting new ones, Gulf Coast Tree Specialists can help you with all your tree care needs. Sometimes your tree problems are too big for you to handle. Even if it seems impossible to remove your tree, our licensed, bonded, and insured professionals can always find a way for a fair and reasonable price. We can also remove large and unusual items from your property. And our certified arborists can analyze root problems and evaluate structural issues. At Gulf Coast Tree Specialists, we would like to thank you for your continued support and service over the past 20 years and look forward to serving you in the future.
Panama City Gastroenterology specializes in colon cancer screening, gastroesophageal reflux disease, all aspects liver disease, and we do conduct clinical trials. We provide care in timely fashion using our extensive experience and are mindful of healthcare costs.
Folks, if you're 50 years old and haven't had a colonoscopy in the last 5 years, you need to give Doc a call.
For the latest medical news, join us today on Facebook. Panama City Gastroenterology.
Hi folks, I'm BJ with BJ's Marine. This has been a family-owned and operated business for over 20 years. We pride ourselves in the sales and service of Nissan and Tohatsu outboards. At BJ's, we have factory-trained and authorized technicians for Nissan and Tohatsu. We also repair most any make or model outboard. Call or come by BJ's Marine Service at 1317 Transmitter Road. And folks, we really do appreciate your business.
Hey, Teresa, that was a fine redfish. Congratulations on catching that fish.
That was a fun day. And also, get your telephones ready because at the end of the show, we're going to be giving away 2 tickets to the Florida Sportsman Show. And speaking of the Florida Sportsman Show, it's going to be next weekend, so make your dates. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5 on Saturday and 10 to 4 on Sunday. And Mark with DOA Lures, he's going to be there, and he's going to be doing a lot of line tying and rigging the DOA baits. So make sure you go by and meet Mark, the owner of DOA, and please tell him thank you for sponsoring the show because we really do appreciate having DOA sponsoring us and behind us. We love their product. We both use them and love them. And also, I'm going to be there with the Dragon Fly stand-up paddleboard. So come by and check out the stand-up paddleboard, and if you want to do a demo on that, you can also contact me later to get on one and demo it and see if you like it. we may just have to take a rod and reel if we do a demo.
Hey, I'm not going to be there this year, folks. I was asked to go over and do a speckled trout fishing seminar, but I passed this year, and Lord willing, maybe next year I can make it, but I've kind of got some obligations I got to meet. And I want to remind you all now to keep your entries coming into our sweepstakes. Go by email.
Outdoors@CaptainRoy.com, or you can call
722-9382. We'll put you in there because this we're going to be drawing for probably every month. I talked to Debbie Gay yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and she said, go ahead and give away a canoe trip this week. For 2 people, a fishing trip with Jody Wells, a fishing trip with Captain Roy for 2 people, everything furnished, guaranteed to have a good time. And so get your interest.
We're going to be giving away some more stand stuff spices. We got some decals, some hats, and some more DOA lures to give away. So
get your entries in, folks. You can't win if you don't get it in. And don't forget to go down, run down there today and sign up for CNG at CNG for the big buck contest. You still got a couple of weeks to kill that big buck. I bet if old Chuck was down there, he would have been he might have won it. But Chuck, I don't know whether Chuck, did you enter the sweepstakes at CNG? You might have missed out.
I hope you did.
Send us your pictures, and again next week, Ronnie Groom will be here. Ronnie and I go back a long way. We're going to be talking turkey next week. For one thing, and I've got some fishing trips I've got to show. I took some fine folks fishing this past week, and we had a good time, caught some good fish. So don't forget to tune us in at 5 o'clock.
Next Saturday.
And if you miss it, go to YouTube.
Right.
The best way to go to YouTube is go to our webpage at CaptainRoy.com.
Yep, and that'll click you to Facebook, that'll click you to YouTube, and get it all. So, but what you want to do right now is get your telephone out and call 625-3273 and get yourself 2 tickets to the Florida Sportsman Show that is going to be next weekend. Folks,
that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Remember to tune in next week at the same time, and remember to always
try to be as good to him as he is to you.
Good day. Okay, folks, it's time to wrap it up and go to the barn.